The Street Files. A complete mystery short story every Wednesday. File 13. Double Bluff. Olivia Street is woken by her mobile phone vibrating on her nightstand, and she leans over to pick it up. Only then does she open her eyes and squint at the screen. It's from a number that's not in her contacts, but that's not unusual given the work she does. "Hello?" she says, and focuses her gaze on the ceiling of her bedroom in her apartment near Tower Bridge, on the Thames. "I'm looking for Olivia Street." "Speaking." "I am Isabella Cortez." She stops, as if seeking recognition. "How can I help?" says Olivia. "I'd rather not say over the phone due to security. But can you come to my hotel?" When she started out in legal work, Olivia used to seek out all of the details from clients up front before she agreed to anything. But the more cases she has worked on, the more she realizes that what people describe in the beginning is often significantly different to the outcome. "Where are you?" she says. "Brown's in Mayfair. You know it?" "I do." "It's 7 now. Can you be here for 9? says Isabella. It's only 6 minutes on the Jubilee line from London Bridge to Green Park, and Olivia walks up the steps on Piccadilly, then crosses over to Albemarle Street. She steps into the reception of Brown's Hotel, and when she says the name Isabella Cortez, she can see the receptionist suppress an emotion. She's not clear which. The man calls Isabella's room. "A guest for you at reception, Signora." He listens. Of course. He ends the call and turns to Olivia. "The Princessa will meet you for breakfast." He guides her to the restaurant, which is an elegant, bright room, with teal semicircular banquettes and shining tableware. Olivia can tell that Isabella has arrived in the room when there's the merest shift in the level of conversation, and a woman with dark hair, smiling green eyes and a Chanel dark green suit appears at the doorway. Sure enough, the woman is shown over to the table, and Olivia stands up to shake hands. A waiter appears and the woman just says, "My usual, David, please." She stops and looks at Olivia. "Smoked salmon for me, scrambled eggs and coffee, please." The man dissolves away. "How can I help you?" says Olivia, turning her eyes to Isabella. "My family used to be a royal line in what is now Spain," she begins. "You may know that we became a republic in the 30s. Then we were restored in the 70s. And the man on reception called you Princess. Is that right?" "Not anymore. They know me here and are respectful. Through my family, though, I do retain diplomatic immunity in the UK. "You said you needed a lawyer on the phone," says Olivia. "We have an apartment around the corner from here, in Old Bond Street, but I prefer to stay here when I'm in London. However, I do use the apartment for entertaining." A waitress arrives with 2 cups of coffee and places them on the table. "I flew in from Madrid yesterday and was due to host a dinner at the apartment for 2 close friends. I arrived there about 5, intending to change my clothes and be ready for 6:30, when the guests were due to arrive." She pauses to drink some coffee. "At around 7 we were talking and drinking, and my man came in asking for a quiet word. He confirmed that there had been a fatality in one of the bedrooms." "Do you know who it was?" "It was one of my dinner guests, Hugo Ortega." "What did the police say?" says Olivia. "They haven't been called." "I'm sorry, Princess, I can't be involved with anything like this. The law is clear. You must report crimes as soon as practically possible, particularly murder. The property is part of the Spanish estate in London, so I don't have to give the police access. So what did you do? She says. My man removed the body. Who is that, your assistant? Assistant, security, companion? She says. Some time ago I arranged for my diplomatic immunity to cover him as well. And where did he take the body? He didn't tell me. I have to ask this, Princessa, given that you have immunity. Did you have any involvement with the death of Signor Ortega? I did. She breaks a croissant. Can you tell me more? I asked my man to kill him. The woman is nonchalant. Why are you telling me this? Under the law, we have to report the death. I'd like you to provide that report to the police. You'll need to give them some details, I would imagine, to keep them satisfied. As I won't allow them in the apartment, they can't investigate. That's what I want you to do. How did you get my name? Says Olivia. It was given to me by a good friend. Olivia can see that this woman likes being opaque. Okay, she says, taking a breath out. I can interview the witnesses and report it to the Metropolitan Police. Diplomatic immunity is not an area I've dealt with, but I do know that if the murder happened in the apartment, and that is protected under the Vienna Convention, then it hinges on whether the guilty party has immunity or not. Do you have the names and contact numbers for the other dinner guest and your assistant? Isabella smiles. I asked them to call at the apartment this morning to see you. And do you have a photograph of the dead man? Says Olivia. Isabella flicks through her phone and holds it out for Olivia to photograph one of the images. Let me ask you another question, Princessa. As you were in the apartment too, what was your relationship with Hugo Ortega? I would call him a friend who I sleep with. We've known each other for 5 years, since he worked in the embassy. He left 2 years ago to go into finance, but our liaison has continued. Why wouldn't you call him your boyfriend? She says. He's not from the right background. Why did you want him dead? Says Olivia. He's been pestering me. To make the relationship more than casual, he threatened to go to my father if I refused. Papa is a very strict Catholic. He would have cut me off with nothing if he'd found out I was sleeping with someone not from a royal or noble house. Isabella picks up her Loewe burgundy handbag and fishes about for something. Then she puts 2 keys on the table between them. The front door is next to Prada, on Old Bond Street. Olivia steps out from Brown's Hotel and starts to walk up and around to Old Bond Street, 1 block to the east. Her phone rings, and it's Poppy. Are you around for lunch, Mum? I'm doing an essay, but I can't get into it. I thought I'd have a break. You can help me, actually. Come to Bond Street. There are some people for us to interview. After they chat and Poppy says she's on her way, Olivia makes a call to Scotland Yard, and they put her through to Inspector Mirren, who she worked with a few weeks ago on a case. I know this is an odd request, Inspector, she says, but can you and I have a without prejudice discussion, face to face? About what? He says. I can't say. Sorry to be vague. Are you anywhere near Bond Street today? I'm seeing a bloke round at Hyde Park Corner, actually. Late morning. Thank you. I'll send you the address. They ring off as Olivia reaches the door next to Prada and pushes one of the keys into the lock. There are steep stairs up 2 flights before there's another door, which she unlocks with the other key. The apartment is decorated almost entirely in white, with pools of yellow and red in strategic and tactical places, creating a bright and expensive place to live. The main lounge is 30 feet long, with a kitchen at the far end of bespoke units and a dark granite counter. The 3 bedrooms are all fitted with mirrored Lemonica wardrobes and luxury ensuite marble bathrooms. One bedroom has no bed covers, and Olivia guesses that this is where the body was found. She has a closer look at the room, but there doesn't seem to be any residue from an attack or from the presence of a corpse. In the absence of forensics, though, this is all she has. So she scours the room for anything out of place, but finds nothing. She's about to walk out, but checks behind cupboards and under the bed. There's something there. A bottle. She reaches out her arm and pulls a tiny glass container into the light. After searching the flat, she sits in a white armchair in the lounge and gets out her notebook to start structuring her thoughts. The bell rings from the street after a while, and it's Poppy. Olivia buzzes her in and they make coffee and sit down. Then the mother outlines what Isabella had told her. "So," begins Poppy, "you said on the phone that we're seeing 2 people? One who was at the dinner here and the assistant bloke?" "Correct, but here's the kicker," says Olivia. "The assistant, Matteo Tapia, is the killer." Poppy screws up her eyebrows. "I don't get it. What are we doing if he's guilty? Shouldn't he just be arrested?" "He's got diplomatic immunity. But let's do the interviews and see what they say. I have an odd feeling about this case. That something is not quite true about what I've been told." As she says the words, the bell rings from downstairs. Olivia buzzes in the caller, and a moment later a woman in her 30s is at the door of the apartment. She has large dark eyes and brown hair in a pixie cut. "I was told to come here." "Come in," says Olivia. "You're Yolanda Castillo." The woman nods. They offer drinks and settle in chairs. "Tell me about last night," says Olivia. "You came over for dinner with Isabella. Did you know the other guest?" "Yes, we're old friends." "What can you tell us about Hugo Ortega?" "He used to work in the embassy with me. He left for a job in finance." "He would have lost his diplomatic immunity when he left, is that right?" Yolanda nods. "Isabella was the one who organized for us all to get together regularly after that," says Yolanda. "But Hugo was funny, charming." "What happened before the body was discovered?" "Nothing unusual. We all talked and had pre-dinner drinks. Then he went to the bathroom." "How long was that before he was found dead?" says Poppy. 5 minutes. Then that awful Matteo slithered in. He whispered in Isabella's ear. He's her bodyguard and assistant, is that right?" Yolanda laughs. "Is that what he told you? He's her pet. Follows her around like a chihuahuano." Olivia looks blank, and Poppy says, "It's Spanish for chihuahua, Mum." "You don't like him?" "He's dangerous." Yolanda's eyes have a passing look of fear before it's gone again. "In what way?" "There are no limits to what he would do to protect her. He loves her, and she knows it. She makes the most of it." Olivia decides to test this witness. "Who do you think killed Hugo?" "A burglar, I guess. I didn't see anyone." "Do you know how he died?" Yolanda shakes her head. "The 3 of you didn't talk about the death after it had occurred last night." The woman shrugs. "I wouldn't be talking to Matteo about anything. And Isabella was distraught. I gave my apologies and left." "How would you characterize the relationship between Hugo and Isabella?" says Olivia. "Friendly. We'd meet for dinner regularly. The 3 of us." "Have you got a boyfriend?" says Poppy. That's irrelevant. We're on your side, Yolanda. Isabella has asked us to record what happened. And you're a witness. I didn't witness anything. There's no corpse in the room. Do you know what happened to it? Says Poppy. Isabella knows a man who works in a hospital. He took it and was going to feed it into the medical waste incinerator there. Yolanda doesn't reveal any more about the events of the evening before they listen to her heels tapping down the steps as she leaves. She was lying big time, wasn't she, Mum? She was. I don't believe she didn't know that Hugo was sleeping with Isabella. And why did she hate Matteo so much? That feeds my earlier thought that this case is not all it seems. The doorbell rings again and Matteo appears at the top of the stairs. He is tall and handsome and in his early 30s, with large dark eyes and short-cut brown hair. How long have you been working for the Princessa, Matteo? 4 years. She's told us that she asked you to kill Hugo Ortega. What was your reaction to that request? No reaction. My job is to protect and serve her as a member of the ancient family of Cortes. How did you kill him? Caustic soda from the kitchen. Olivia produces the bottle that she found in the room. It was in this, was it? Where did you get that? He looks perturbed for the first time in this conversation. Under the bed in the room. I'll get rid of it for you. Let me keep hold of it for a while, just as part of our documenting the events of the night. I'll return it to you. The room has been cleaned, says Olivia. Did you do that? He nods. The Princessa told me to. After another uncomfortable 10 minutes, Olivia says that he can go. He gets up quickly and is gone in a moment. Olivia digs into her handbag and pulls out a black marker pen. Those are the 2 witnesses, she says. This is a washable marker pen, Poppy, before you get worried, because I'm going to write on the window. There's a wide plate glass window in the centre of the wall that looks out over Bond Street, and they stand at it before Olivia writes on the glass. What do we know? She says, as she writes. 1, there's no corpse to inspect. We can't test how he died. We just have to take Matteo's word for it, says Poppy. We don't even know what he looked like. Ah, we do, actually. Olivia gets out her phone and shows Poppy the image that she photographed earlier from Isabella's device. 2. Yolanda saw nothing, says Olivia, and doesn't seem upset at all from being here in the same apartment where someone she knew died only 12 hours ago. No one really told us anything, like it was a story. That's suspicious, isn't it, Mum? Remember your thing about consistency in evidence? And if evidence is perfectly consistent, then it's more likely to be false? 3, says Olivia. Why did Isabella want to report to the police? She has a protected lifestyle. The body's gone. No one would be any the wiser, unless she had told me about it. Maybe she had some morality, says Poppy. Or she feels guilty for ordering his death. She was sleeping with him too, you said. She's weirdly heartless. Olivia makes notes of the points. One more thing. This bottle I found, she says. Let's test something. Matteo said caustic soda was his weapon. It would kill if forced down Hugo's throat. Come with me. They walk to the kitchen. Look for turmeric. They search the cupboards. Here's some, Mum. What's this for? A natural acidity test. She takes the bottle. Pour some turmeric in there. If it's acidic, the turmeric will turn reddy brown. Poppy pours the spice into the bottle. They both wait for a reaction. It's still yellow, says the teenager, after a few seconds. This hasn't had caustic soda in it, she says. They return to the window and Olivia takes photos of the notes and the conclusions that they have drawn. Case closed, she says. Let's report back to the Princessa. Then we can have an early lunch. I'll meet the police later and tell them what we found. The two women descend the steep stairs and walk out onto Old Bond Street, then down to Piccadilly and back up towards the hotel. As they walk into the reception, a face that Olivia knows is there. Inspector Mirren. I thought you said you were meeting someone at Hyde Park Corner, Inspector, when we talked earlier. I was there and this 999 call came up on the radios. I was only 5 minutes away. A 999 call from this hotel, says Olivia. Yeah, some princess had her jewels stolen. Isabella Cortez, says Poppy. Mirren stops and narrows his eyes. Who are you? This is my daughter, Poppy. She's an investigator too. What do you know about Isabella Cortez? We're investigating a case for her, Inspector. She's our client. Did the burglars take much jewellery? A bodyguard was killed in the raid, actually, he says. You'd better both come up with me to the room. I need to know everything you know about this woman. They all take the stairs to the first floor and walk to the Kipling suite. There's a lobby inside the room, and they walk into the lounge of the suite. In the wall is an open safe, and on the floor is a hotel sheet covering what seems to be a body. A burglary gone wrong, says Poppy. Mirren is slightly hesitant. That's what it looks like, he says. Now tell me about this woman. She asked us to look into a potential murder in a protected property on Old Bond Street, says Olivia. The guilty party has diplomatic immunity, but she was keen that you were made aware. That's why I called you earlier. But you can't prosecute, as it's outside of your jurisdiction. This hotel isn't, though. This isn't an embassy. Their immunity covers them anywhere, not just embassies. But why did you say that? Just covering all my bases. Anyway, I need to inspect this body before the forensics get here. You can look away if you're squeamish. It's not a nice one, apparently. Stabbed in the chest and the weapon is still in place. Mirren pulls back the sheet. The women do look. It's Matteo, says Poppy. Who? Matteo Tapia, says Olivia. Isabella's assistant and bodyguard. What time did they find the body in this room, Inspector? She moves over to the corpse. The 999 came in just after 11 this morning, he says. We met him at about 10:30, says Olivia. Your forensics team will be able to confirm if death occurred immediately after he'd met us. There's a knock on the door of the suite, and the forensics team arrive. Mirren, Olivia, and Poppy walk out to the corridor to give the scientists space to work. Mirren has the hotel staff to interview, and he tells Olivia and Poppy to call in to Kensington Police Station later this afternoon, and he can take their statements on the events of today. The key question is, says Olivia, as they stand in the hotel reception, are the two deaths linked? Matteo could have just gone back to work in the hotel with the princess, and a burglar comes along and he tries to stop them, and they stab him. Two murders on consecutive days involving the same woman and the same man. It's too much of a coincidence. This is an invention, Poppy. As they stand there, Yolanda Castillo walks by and has gone in a moment. After the woman has walked out, Poppy says, Mum, that was Yolanda. Did you see? Visiting her friend, the Princessa, no doubt, says Olivia, and commiserating over the burglary. Why do you think she lied to us? There's only one reason that people lie, Poppy. That's to hide the truth. I don't believe the story all of those people told. Do you? No, I don't. I'm going to mention that to the inspector when we make our statements. He can investigate further, but their immunity makes prosecution impossible. Can we follow Yolanda, Mum? If we lose her, we'll go and get some lunch. They walk out to the street. She's up there, turning the corner. They stay 50 yards behind the woman as she hurries along the streets of London. The pavements are full of people going about their day in Mayfair. Shoppers, residents, couriers on bikes and tourists all gaggle around, blocking their ability to keep up with Yolanda. In the end, they move out into the road and run along the gutter. They reach the southern side of Berkeley Square, and Yolanda runs straight out into the traffic, causing horns to blare, but she doesn't stop. The woman pushes on, avoiding the cars, then crashing across the grass in the square. As Yolanda reaches the roadway on the far side, she hails a black cab and scrambles in. The taxi moves off towards Green Park as Poppy and Olivia reach the road. There's another cab with its light on, and they flag it down and give chase. It's only 5 minutes before the cab in front pulls over to the curb on Piccadilly, and Yolanda jumps out and disappears into Green Park. On the other side of the park is Buckingham Palace, and they all gradually approach the grand house before Olivia and Poppy can see Yolanda reach the road in front of the palace, and she waves to someone up ahead. Let's just wait here near the trees to see who she's meeting. As they watch, Yolanda walks to a man and a woman, and instantly Poppy and Olivia recognize the new people. That's Hugo Ortega, Mum, the dead man. And the Princessa Isabella Castillo. Matteo didn't kill him. I'm confused now. It's become clear to me, Poppy. I know what happened. But we need to harness those police officers over there who are guarding the palace. They walk along the fence line and over to a group of police on duty outside Buckingham Palace. Olivia tells them that the 3 people chatting 50 yards away are connected to a death in Brown's Hotel. The police agree to trap them, and they maneuver each side of the group, then close in before anyone can start to run. A call is made to Inspector Mirren, who appears 15 minutes later, and Mirren, Olivia and Poppy stand together in front of the palace railing. Here's what I think happened, Inspector, she says. The man in that group being held by the officers is Hugo Ortega, who was seemingly killed yesterday by the man who died in Brown's Hotel. Isabella twisted the story from the outset. She told me that she wanted Hugo dead because he was pestering her, whereas it was Matteo who was actually doing the pestering. The 3 of them planned to kill Matteo as the only way to stop him. The 2 women, though, didn't want to do the killing, but Hugo did. They had a problem. Hugo doesn't have diplomatic immunity. He lost that when he left his job in the embassy 2 years ago. So they invented the whole murder story, so that Hugo would officially be dead, and therefore he couldn't possibly be the killer of Matteo. We tested the bottle of caustic acid we found in the room, that Matteo had confirmed was his weapon. There was no acid in it. Matteo may have thought that he really did kill Hugo. We'll never know now. The blonde woman there, Yolanda, she gave me the idea about what really happened when she told us that Matteo was in love with Isabella. It told me that there were emotional undercurrents between the 4 people in the apartment last night, and unsatisfied emotions can sometimes drive people to kill in extreme circumstances. They walk across to the group as the police van arrives to take them into custody. You can't hold us, says Isabella. I will call the Spanish ambassador and we'll be released within the hour. That is true, Princessa. But Hugo Don't forget you're the only one here without diplomatic immunity. Isabella and Yolanda are protected. Something to think about as you talk to the police. If the Spanish authorities are so minded, immunity could be suspended. The three are put into the van, and Mirren turns to Olivia and Poppy. I'll see what can be done. It's a tricky one, though. They all shake hands, and Olivia and Poppy start to walk down the Mall, with Buckingham Palace behind them. The essay I'm doing is about the application of criminal law, so I know what I'm going to write about now. Diplomatic immunity. I'll look forward to reading it, Poppy. The book of the first 13 stories is now available in hardback. Search The Street Files Volume 1 on Amazon. There'll be a new volume every 13 weeks for you to collect. The Street Files, a complete mystery short story every Wednesday.